colors, shapes, techniques, different mediums, everything to express what I do. And I went crazy because I wanted to do something with my hands, right? Because when you create something, you feel satisfied at the end and you really want to do more after that. So that's what I wanted to do. I was really excited in creating something with my hands. But the one challenge that made me do art was for me to be like you guys. Be able to hear, be able to make friends, be able to understand my teacher. Of course, even now, I don't understand my teacher sometimes. But now I used art as a way to help me, document that and spread awareness, give other people information that this is my journey and I want them to help me as well as help other people who are also people who cannot hear, as well as other students who need help with making these kind of artworks. So what do I create art about besides the fact that I'm a person who cannot hear? Well, I also studied dance. As you can see, there's a picture of me dancing, and I did a few performances in the Boulevard last year or 2 years ago. So you may have noticed me. And these are a bunch of journeys that I have gone through in the past 3 years, and it's all surrounding the fact that I'm the person who can in FIS, as well as I've had an exhibition for my IB art. Then I have a bunch of artworks, and this photo is my mom and my mentor. They both are the ones who were able to teach me how to speak and hear. And without them, I wouldn't be who I am today. Oh, and I also, so that's what I do. I like to study movement in my dance. Because if you know Indian dancing, Indian songs, and Bollywood songs, they're all full of colors and music. And I like to document that in my artworks. I like to really show that dance in my artworks. I also like to draw, for example, what I observe. So what I see around you. Like for example, I could draw you guys right now because you guys are part of my journey. This is my first time doing a workshop, and I would like to draw you guys because I am telling other people through my art that I am trying to help others or give ideas, explore how I do art, as well as explore and give other people the opportunity to explore how they can express their own journey in their art. I also do some imaginary ideas. I took some magazine covers, like magazine papers and books, because they have so much color in them. And then I made them into an art piece. And if you can see, if I put it next to this one right here, do you see a resemblance? Yeah. Do you see a connection? That's because this is all about dancing. Because music, if you have any feelings in music, you feel colorful, right? All colors represent different feelings, right? And so I was feeling very excited. I was feeling very, very happy, and of course, feeling the music. And that's what I wanted to show in the collage. And that's why you can see I used all kinds of elements of art, colors, shapes. And so much more. I've also done it with charcoal. I like to experiment with my material, with my different artwork. Sometimes, if I have an artwork that is totally bad, I'm pretty sure you guys have so many artworks that you feel like, I want to throw it away, right? Yeah. All the time.
Yeah.
But it is important not to throw it away, because what happens is, later on, let's say 3 weeks later, you come back to that terrible piece of work, and then you will see, oh, I can use it with something else. I could tear it a bit and then add it into my current piece of work. And that's how I express my journey, because I'm showing my feeling and I'm showing how I am the person who cannot hear. So I like to express that. And of course you can see I've used different types of media. Yeah. Well, I could, that's a good way of seeing it. Actually, what it is a little organ in my ear. It's called a cochlea. And the cochlea in my ear is like really, it's in every one of your ears. And what is happening is, inside, there's some hair cells. And what happens is, when people who cannot hear, what happens to those hair cells? They are damaged. And when they're damaged, they cannot hear. And so that's what I wanted to show here. The whole shell is that if you look on the outside of the shell, it looks like a snail, right?
Yeah.
Because in the ear, the cochlea also looks like a shell, like a snail shell. See that spiral?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to put outside. Then when you go inside, you will see I used wire. And if you remember from Miss Margaret's class, she uses collagen paper, right? She painted the background of the paper and then she made some textures on it. So I did the same thing and I added them as leaves. Then I also used these, there's a special, it's not used in the art. You start to feel like, I don't know what to draw, right? I'm always drawing houses, for example. Now I don't know what to draw next. Or perfection. Is it hard to be perfect? Sometimes, for example, if you want to draw a circle, let's say, I'm drawing a circle, and sometimes if I draw the circle, it may not be a perfect circle. It may go underneath or it may go over, and then you have to keep erasing it to make a perfect circle, right? And that's what I'm also saying. It's hard to be perfect all the time. Then also the motivation to keep going. For example, this artwork, it took me 3 months to finish. I've also had artworks that took 6 months to finish. 6 months. And sometimes along the way, I start to feel bored of it, right? Because you're doing the same thing over and over. Or if you're facing a lot of challenges, you start to get a little, you start to feel down or you feel a little bored of it. But then it's hard to keep that motivation to keep going. But then I know that if I could have a great piece at the end, then that whole satisfaction motivates me to keep going. So perfection, if you can see here, it looks like a perfect piece of art to you, right? Wow. But if you see here, the nose and the mouth is a little too wide.
I see dolphin, what I was that. I see like a piece of glass.
Well, this was actually a very recent work, so I have an idea that's coming from the next semester.
What about a bunch of
I
see.
So
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, Prisha, you said sometimes you work on something for 4 or 5 hours, or I think there's something you said you even worked on for 48 hours. What happens when, 12 hours into your 48-hour project, you don't like it anymore? How do you keep working on it? Because sometimes you can put it aside, but sometimes you have to finish, and how do you do that?
Well, that's a good question actually. Even I was also having that same question in the beginning of my art journey. Well, what I did was I kept going because yes, you may not like it, but you never know what's the outcome. You never know what's happening at the end of your final piece. Maybe if, for example, this one, I also had a few moments where I said I didn't like it. I don't know how to explain it right now, but for example, let's say before this whole face was made, these glasses were horrible. And you can see there's a little eye. You can see a little eye there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like it. When I saw this, I said, that looks horrible. I don't want to keep going. But I kept going. Why? Because I wanted to see what will happen at the end. And now when I finished it, I liked it. It's all about being patient and keep going. Try to express your feeling. Try to express your journey. And at the end, you will see a huge new perspective. That's how I wanted every one of your eyes to come to the main point before you look at the whole. So I'm using all kinds of elements of art to express what I'm feeling and what I did experience at that time. So today, what you guys are going to do is you're going to express about your experience during your ski break, what you had done. If you felt happy, did you feel bored, did you feel upset? You're going to express that into your board. There are some boards on the table over there. There's some small and some big. And what you're going to do is you're going to have some plaster and you're going to dip it in water, but do not drip it for so long. Just do it very quick and like this. Take it out, drip off the excess water, and then you can just shape it. Shape it accordingly to how you were feeling. For example, I made some roses. And roses because I was feeling happy. I made some flowers because I was feeling happy during my ski break. And we had some good sun and I wanted to put that into my work. And then, or if you ever felt, let's say, very bored or very lazy or something like that, you can just play around. You can put it like this, flat, showing that I've been very lazy and I've been just lying down on my couch and watching TV, or I have been so happy that I'm having spikes of excitement everywhere, or I'm very angry. I had a really horrible break. I'm scrunching up the plaster. So I'm trying to express my feelings in here by playing around with them. And that's what you guys are going to do. And then next class,